it's Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance, and we are going to be looking at rotations, specifically in Side Warrior. Now, there are rotations built into the pose. By rotation, I'm talking about the leg externally rotating or internally rotating, and there's a little of each in this pose built in. So when we set up, we externally rotate the front leg to point the toes toward the short edge of the mat, and we slightly internally rotate the back leg just by turning that heel out a little bit. The hips, we're told to put them flat to the right, to yank them flat to the side, but most of us don't have enough external rotation to have our foot completely parallel to the edge of the mat with our pelvis also parallel to the edge of the mat. So it might have turned a little bit. When we play with rotation here, that rotation exists in the description of the pose, but I'm talking about additional rotation, and we're going to play with it in the front leg. And we do this to wake up particular muscles and to load the joints differently and just to experience it in a new way. If it causes discomfort, don't move so far or don't do that rotation. But if it's just interesting and unusual and weird, stay there. See what you can learn from that about your body and let your body build some new strengths and abilities. So we come down to Side Warrior, Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana B, and we press into the feet and we squeeze the feet toward each other, waking up some inner legs, and we lift up through the torso. I'm not going to talk about the arms because this is really about the legs. So we're doing this work and we hold it, and notice again, pelvis isn't completely flat to the side and feet are on the floor and what muscles are working. And we're going to straighten that leg. Now we're going to further externally rotate this leg. So I'm going to lift my toes up and rotate on my heel, turning my toes toward that corner of my mat, that front outer corner. Might be a little, might be a lot. It's going to turn my hips more. You can see I'm facing the camera a little bit more. I'm even less to the side. My knee also goes toward that corner. I'm going to press into my feet here and squeeze my legs toward each other here. And notice where I'm feeling that in different places. You might notice it in your back leg when you rotate more in this front. Again, there's that lift. We're not talking about the hands. We're just observing what's going on from the waist down when we externally rotate the front leg beyond the normal instruction. So we come up, and you know where this is going. We're going to lift up the foot, rotate on the heel, and turn the toes and the leg internally to point toward the other corner of the mat. Now, my hips do go flat or flatter, and I bend my knee. My knee is also going toward that. I'm going to press my feet into the floor. I'm going to squeeze my legs toward each other. And I'm going to feel what that feels like. I'm feeling this right back in here, deep in the hip. That's sort of interesting. It changes because I get used to something and then I add more and things wake up in new ways. We come up. And we're just going to stand up. We're going to feel the difference between right and left. Both legs were working because I wasn't ignoring the instructions on the back leg, but the right leg had more opportunity to try things. Let's do it on the other side just to see how that is. So again, I'm going to set up and I'm turning my toes toward the short edge of the mat the way I would, an external rotation. My back heel turns out to internally rotate the front leg. My pelvis is turned a little but not a lot. I bend my front knee. This is the normal instruction. I want to be able to press my whole foot into the floor, heel to toe, inner and outer foot. I want to squeeze my legs toward each other and lift up. Feel how much leg muscle and glutes are firing, if they're firing. And we straighten the leg. We're going to pick the foot up, externally rotate, put the foot back down, and bend the knee. And you see I get pulled more because I have to. Right? The leg turned further. My pelvis only goes so far when my legs turn. It has to move with it. I try and press my feet into the ground and squeeze my legs toward each other. I have a harder time getting the inner edge of my foot on the floor, and as someone with high arches, this is challenging. So it uses more muscle on the inner leg, inner foot. And we'll come up. I'm going to get up on the heel again, internally rotate, toes point toward the other corner. My pelvis opens up more to the side. I bend my front knee, press my feet into the ground. That's easier. Squeeze my legs toward each other. That's challenging. And again, I'm feeling it way deep in my hip, but toward the glutes, very deep in there. Just seeing what I notice. that may not be what you notice. Come on out of it. You get to play with things in order to discover things about your body. In doing this, you start to use muscles that often are contracted, like our outer thighs, because we do a lot in that external rotation. When there's rotation, one set of muscles is contracting while another is extending. And so when we rotate that front thigh, we tend to continue to contract. When we internally rotate it, we start to use more of that outer thigh. When we over externally rotate it, that does different things. All of these changes load the bones differently, load the muscles differently, load the joints differently. And in doing so, you're bringing more opportunity for your body to become stronger, to become more stable, to become more mobile. Work within your range. You might not rotate as far, you might go farther. But again, if it's discomfort, discern discomfort and differentiate discomfort from weird. And if it's weird, do it.